Hello. This morning I was looking on my Goodreads and I realized that I read 6 books in September, which is actually crazy for me. I think before this, the most books I've read in a month is like maybe 3, honestly, if that. So 6 is like so many books for me, and it might not sound like a lot to some people, but I'm not a very fast reader. So I have decided that this is the perfect opportunity to film a monthly reading wrap-up, which I've never done before, but I love reading and I love talking about the books that I read. So truly, this is the perfect video for me to film. Okay, the first book that I'm going to be talking about is The Grimrose Girls by Laura Pohl, and this is the first book that I read this month. I read it the 1st of September, or last month, I guess. And this is a YA fantasy / murder mystery with some romance in it. Going into this, I actually didn't know it was like fantasy, but there is kind of like fairy tales and magic intertwined with the murder mystery plot. So it's not like a high fantasy, like fantasy world. It's set in a super fancy boarding school in Switzerland, I believe, which also just made it like the perfect like fall book. And I know the 1st of September isn't technically fall, but it's like kind of fall, you know? So like this was a perfect book to start off the month, and I loved it. I think it was very entertaining because there's a lot of point of views in it, which can be like confusing, and it took kind of a while to learn all the characters because there's so many characters in it. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars, I believe. I did read most of this in August, I won't lie, okay? But I also like finished it and everything in September. So I think this took a little under a week for me to read. 4 stars, very good book, would recommend for like a first time fantasy-ish book because it's very easy to read and stuff, and I enjoyed it. Okay, the next book that I read, I couldn't be more excited to talk about, honestly. This is 90% of why I wanted to film this video, because this is, okay. This book is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alir Sanez. This book, I know that it's very popular, but I actually couldn't decide what book to read after The Grimrose Girls. So I literally picked out of a hat, and I picked this one and I was like, whatever, I'll read it. Because I've had this on my shelf for like months, okay? Literally on page 18, I knew this was going to be my new favorite book. I started underlining, and I swear to God, like there's so much stuff I underlined in this book. This book is just about a young teenager growing up in the 1980s, maybe, something like that. It was just like, I can't even explain the plot. It's not even like super plot based. It's very like character driven, but it was literally the best book I've ever read. It's my new favorite book. It was adorable, and it actually means so much to me. So yeah, just like go read it. Just read it. I literally haven't stopped thinking about it since I read it, and I know I read it like less than a month ago, but still, okay? It was beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, go read it right now. The third book that I read in September is This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amel El-Motar and Max Gladstone. This is another very popular queer romance book, but this one's actually very different than anything else I've ever read. This is a sci-fi type book, and it's also written mostly in letters, kind of. I don't really know how to explain this one. I'm not gonna lie, because I was kind of confused for the first 60% of the book, and it's also 200 pages, by the way, so it's like very short. But I didn't really know what was going on, and I don't think you're meant to. You kind of just like build understanding for this world as you keep reading. And I gave this book 4 stars, and I actually had no clue how to rate this book because I've never read anything like it before, and I was just like confused the whole time. But it is like beautifully written, and the letters in this book are incredible. Like, they are so well written and it's so sweet. But pretty much in this book, Red and Blue are the main characters. Pretty much they're both agents and they're in a time war and they're weaving through the braid of time and trying to win something. I never really learned what they're trying to win in this, but they are rivals and they start sending letters to each other. That's all I can explain, truly. But I did really enjoy this book and I enjoyed every second of reading it. And it's also, like I said, it's less than 200 pages, so it was very quick to read, but it also like took a long time and a lot of it took a lot of effort to read. Not like effort, but like mind power. Okay, you had to like really think about it to understand. So I would recommend it, even if just to like try something new. But I thought it was very beautiful and like the romance was great. So the next book that I read was a Kindle Unlimited book, and it was called Losing Sam, which is another young adult queer romance. Shocker. That book was about pretty much this girl, her mother died, and she has been working her whole high school career to try to get into this college called Trinity, which is a very prestigious religious college. And to get into that college, she signed up to volunteer at a addict recovery center, and there's another girl who was like helping at the center named Sam, and it's pretty much their relationship. And I don't remember the other girl's name, I'm sorry. It's Sam and something else. I've been trying to remember, I forget. Realizing like she doesn't want what her mother wanted, and it's like the grief in it and like her trying to figure out if that's like okay. I really liked it. Gave it, I believe, 3.5 stars, which is good, by the way. That is not a bad rating for me. That's like above average, okay? I did enjoy it. It was very fast and easy to read. It was kind of sad, but I did like it. And I also have been trying to read more Kindle Unlimited books because otherwise I'm losing money, so. After that, I read another Kindle Unlimited book, which is very well known, and that was The Housemaid by Freida McFadden, which is a what is that word? Physiological? No. The Housemaid is a psychological thriller about a girl who went to college. No, not college. It's about a girl who was in prison for 10 years and then got out and was living out of her car and needed to find a job. And she got an interview to be a housemaid at this super nice house in like a very rich neighborhood, and it was like a dream job to her. So pretty much she got the job and weird stuff started happening, and her boss, or the wife, pretty much was horrible to her, and then everything unravels, and it is pretty crazy. I will say though, I gave it 3 stars, and I only gave it 3 stars because it was very easy to get through. Like, it was so quick to read. I read it in like 2 days, but I don't think it was very well written, and it was crazy and like entertaining. I also have never read a thriller before, so maybe thriller is just not my genre, but I will be reading more thrillers to see if I just don't like that book or if I just don't like thrillers. But it wasn't my favorite thing ever. I think it was poorly written and gave me a weird vibe, which it's meant to, definitely, but like also the like hated every second of like anything that was like meant to be like whatever romantic in that book. I don't know, it wasn't my favorite thing ever. A lot of people love it, so I'm kind of like, I was kind of shocked after I read it that like so many people gave it 5 stars. I was like, what? It was okay though, I guess. Okay, the last book that I'm going to be talking about in this video is All of Us Villains by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman. This book I am currently reading, but I read like 2/3 of it in September, so I am counting it. So don't comment if you think that I shouldn't count it, because I am. Anyways, this is a fantasy, young adult, dystopian type novel. It was described as similar to the Hunger Games, but with magic. And I am loving this so far. So pretty much they live in a world where there's a common magic and a high magic. And in this small town called Ilvernath, every 20 years there's the Blood Moon, or the Blood Veil, where there's a tournament and 7 families pretty much name one person in their family the champion, who goes to fight in this tournament, and the last one of the 7 who lives, them and their family, gets all the control over the high magic for the next 20 years. So this is following the next generation of champions competing in this tournament, and it has multiple point of views, and I actually love this so far. It's so interesting and entertaining, and I really also want to read Hunger Games really bad, so maybe I'll do that next month. We'll see. Or this month. There's so many like little like plot twists or like little things that like go wrong, and it's just like so entertaining. And there's this one romance in it that is literally so cute, because it's like in the middle of the tournament. And also, no, this is not a spoiler, okay? I'm not even telling you who the romance is between, okay? But they're so cute, and I really want to talk more about this with spoiling it, but I won't. But I want to. But yeah, this romance is so cute. So if you're reading this, or if you've read it, my favorite pages, not that anyone cares, but I'm telling you, 225 and then 185-ish. Yeah, 100% recommend this. It's amazing so far. I'm very excited to see how it ends. There's also a second one. Oh, there's also a second one of the Grimrose Girls. I didn't tell you that. I actually have it right here. This is the second one to the Grimrose Girls. And then there's a second one called All of Our Demise to that one. Obviously, I haven't rated this one yet because I'm not finished with it, but so far, 5 stars. So far, it's 5 stars. So I gave 2 books 5 stars this month, which is really good, honestly, because I feel like I'm kind of a picky, not super picky reader, but like kind of. So anyways, thank you if you watched till the end of this video, which you did if you're hearing this right now. So thank you for watching, and go watch all my other videos, every one of them. Goodbye.